As Republicans continue to debate who the next Speaker of the House might be, I talked with one of Kevin McCarthy's defenders, a moderate from New York, a Republican, Michael Lawler. I spoke with him just a little while ago up on Capitol Hill. Watch. This is a bit of a crazy day yesterday, to say the least.
No question.
How'd you sleep last night?
It was fine. I'm honestly just disappointed for our country.
Yeah.
I think, Republicans were elected to serve in a House Republican majority and to govern and to tackle the issues facing the American people, from spending to border security to the threats emanating out of China and Russia and Iran. And unfortunately, all of that important work has been torpedoed by 8 people within our conference who felt their petty personal grievances were more important than the work of the American people.
We're walking through the basement right now. I think you got an interview maybe you're going to. There's not much that's getting done around here today, is there? Right? I mean, it's effectively locked down.
No, the House floor is shut down, unfortunately, because we can't really do anything until we elect a new speaker.
Right.
And so we're going to have to wait until next week to meet as a conference, discuss who the candidates are, hear from them, and then hopefully vote on the House floor.
When you woke up this morning, what was sort of the emotion going through? Was it like anger, frustration, refreshing?
I'm disgusted.
Disgusted, yeah, you said that word twice now.
I'm angry about what happened. I think it was unwarranted. I don't think the Speaker deserved that. And I think, again, these folks sided with 208 Democrats to remove the House Republican Speaker.
Right.
That is not at any point what should happen. If there was an issue, that should have been decided within the conference and dealt with.
What do you make of Donald Trump and the chatter around him right now about potentially being the House Speaker or coming in? And
look, there's never been a House Speaker elected outside of the House.
Right.
I think the solution will come from within. We will elect a House Speaker next week, hopefully, and move forward.
Some have been asking the question: how crazy do you have to be to run to be the House Speaker? Like, would it ever cross your mind of potentially doing something like that? Or like, how does a congressman or congresswoman sort of process all that?
Well, I think what is unfortunate is, after seeing how Kevin McCarthy was treated by several people who I would describe as ingrates, ingrates, people who he helped elect, people who he helped raise money to win their elections, and they voted against him. It makes it very hard to see how some future speaker is going to sacrifice so much time away from their family to go raise the money needed to build the majority that Kevin McCarthy built. I don't think these people truly understand what they just did. They took our best player off the field, the biggest fundraiser, the biggest champion for a Republican majority, and frankly, burned everything to the ground.
I think we're getting to our end point here, so let's leave with this. What is the most refreshing non-speaker conversation you've had today here up on Capitol Hill?
Not many.
Not many? All right, we'll leave it there. Thanks, guys.
Right.
Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.